What if your electric car could pay for its own car payment while it's just parked in your driveway? It sounds like a tech dream or a financial scam, but this is the real-world reality of a massive new technology called everything-to-grid. Also known as V2G, this technology is quietly revolutionizing the way the world distributes and consumes energy. Today, we are going to look under the hood of this technology to understand why the world's largest energy grids are desperate to pay you to borrow your parked car, how the math adds up to hundreds of dollars in profit each month, and why this might be the key to unlocking 100% clean energy. To understand why everything to grid is such a big deal, we first need to understand the fragile nature of our electricity grid. The power grid is a marvel of engineering, but it has one massive vulnerability: it has almost zero storage capacity. The electricity powering your lights, AC, and computer right now is being generated by a power plant at this very second. If demand spikes even slightly and power plants can't keep up, the grid's voltage drops, leading to blackouts. For over a century, grid operators have had to balance supply and demand in real time, matching generation to usage second by second. But as we transition to clean energy, this balancing act is becoming nearly impossible. Clean energy sources like solar and wind are fantastic, but they have a timing problem. Solar panels generate the most electricity in the middle of the day when the sun is shining brightest. However, during the afternoon, most people are at work, school, or away from home, meaning residential electricity usage is relatively low. This creates a massive surplus of clean energy in the afternoon. But as the sun goes down, solar production drops to zero. Unfortunately, this is the exact time everyone returns home, turns on lights, fires up ovens, cranks up the AC, and plugs in appliances. Solar energy peaks when we don't need it, and disappears when we need it most. This daily mismatch between solar supply and human demand creates a shape that energy analysts call the duck curve. In the afternoon, the net demand on the grid dips low, representing the duck's belly. In the evening, demand shoots up rapidly, representing the duck's head. To handle this sudden evening spike, grid operators can't rely on slow-starting coal or nuclear plants. Instead, they must turn on peaker plants. These are gas-guzzling turbines that can fire up in minutes. Peaker plants are extremely expensive to operate, release massive amounts of carbon dioxide, and sit completely idle for 90% of the year. They are a dirty, inefficient solution to a growing problem. The obvious solution to the duck curve is energy storage. If we can capture the excess solar power during the day, we can discharge it in the evening. But building massive, centralized utility battery parks is slow, expensive, and resource-intensive, requiring billions of dollars in investment. But what if the battery capacity we need is already sitting in our driveways? Today, millions of electric vehicles are parked on streets and driveways. On average, a personal car is parked 95% of the time. Inside these parked cars are some of the most advanced, powerful batteries ever built, sitting completely idle. Everything to grid is about unlocking this dormant network of batteries. To turn a parked car into a mini power plant, we need bidirectional charging. Standard EV chargers are one way. They push electricity from the grid into the car's battery. Bidirectional charging allows electricity to flow in both directions. This technology is split into three levels. First is V2L, or vehicle to load, which lets you plug appliances directly into the car. Second is V2H, or vehicle to home, where your car powers your house during an outage. An average EV battery can power a typical home for 3 to 5 days. Finally, we have V2G, or vehicle to grid, where your car battery feeds electricity directly back into the municipal power grid to support the community. How do you make money from this? The answer is energy arbitrage, buying electricity when it is cheap and selling it when it is expensive. Utilities in many regions use dynamic pricing, meaning electricity prices change hourly based on demand. Late at night, electricity demand is extremely low, and wind turbines produce surplus energy, making power incredibly cheap, sometimes as low as 5 cents to 10 cents per kilowatt-hour. In the evening, during peak demand, prices spike, often exceeding 50 cents per kilowatt-hour. By charging your EV at night and discharging just a fraction of its power back to the grid in the evening, you pocket the difference. Let's look at the actual math. Imagine you charge your car overnight at an off-peak rate of 8 cents per kilowatt-hour. During the evening peak, you agree to feed 30 kilowatt-hours of power back to the grid. That is less than half of an average EV battery's capacity. If the utility pays you a peak rate of 50 cents per kilowatt-hour, your gross revenue is $15. Subtract the $2.40 it cost you to charge that energy, and you make a net profit of $12.60 in a single day. Over a month, that adds up to $378 in profit. That is enough to cover a significant portion of a monthly car payment, just for parking. At this point, you might be asking, won't this constant charging and discharging destroy my car's battery? It's a valid concern, as battery degradation is real. However, modern battery chemistry has advanced significantly. Many newer EVs use LFP, or lithium iron phosphate, batteries. LFP cells are incredibly durable and are rated for 3,000 to 5,000 complete charge cycles. In terms of driving, that is over 1 million miles of battery life. Furthermore, V2G systems are managed by smart software. This software ensures the battery is never fully drained or overcharged, operating in the optimal 40% to 80% range. Under these conditions, the wear on the battery is virtually negligible. So, what's the catch? The primary hurdle today is the cost of equipment. Standard EV chargers cost around $500, but bidirectional chargers are more complex because they must convert the car's direct current power back into alternative current for the grid. These units, along with installation, can cost between $1,500 and $4,000. However, grid operators are desperate for this storage, so many utilities are offering massive rebates, tax credits, and subsidies that cover up to 80% of the installation costs. As production scales, the cost of bidirectional chargers is expected to fall rapidly, making V2G standard in every home. This isn't just theoretical, V2G is happening right now. In the United Kingdom, Octopus Energy ran a pilot program called Powerloop, which saved Nissan Leaf owners up to $400 a year on their bills. In California, Tesla has built a massive virtual power plant in partnership with PG&E. Tesla Powerwall owners coordinate their home batteries to discharge power into the grid during peak energy emergencies, earning a massive $2 per kilowatt-hour. These projects prove that decentralized home batteries can successfully replace fossil-fueled peaker plants and stabilize the grid in real time, while paying citizens directly for their contribution. As millions of electric vehicles hit the road, our parked cars are transitioning from simple transport machines into the backbone of a cleaner, more resilient energy grid. Everything to grid proves that the energy transition doesn't just rely on massive utility projects, it relies on the choices we make in our own driveways. So, would you plug your car in to support the grid and earn some extra dollars, or are you still worried about battery wear? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this explanation, hit that subscribe button for Layman's Field, bringing knowledge for everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.